DETV News is sponsored by Newcastle County Government.
Flags are flying at half-staff as a former Delaware governor is laid to rest.
Plus, the mask mandate is extended for public and private schools in the state.
And a possible strike by a school bus company could leave thousands of students stranded. Those stories, along with sports and weather, are coming up. Good evening and welcome to DETV News, your trusted news source. I'm Lauren Wilson.
And I'm Matt Ford. Thanks for joining us.
Delaware laid to rest a political giant this week with the passing of former Governor Ruth Ann Minner. She was 86. President Joe Biden left Washington to return to his home state to pay his last respects. Hundreds of state and local officials did the same yesterday, along with family and friends. Minner was the first and only female elected to lead the state. She was born the daughter of a sharecropper who dropped out of high school to work for the family farm. She was widowed at the age of 32 and worked 2 jobs as a single mother while earning her GED. Minner got her political start as an aide in the Delaware House of Representatives. In 1975, after she couldn't get a loan without a man's signature, she ran for state representative and then the state senate in 1983. She served 2 terms as lieutenant governor alongside then Governor Tom Carper. She ran successfully for governor in 2001. She served 2 terms. Among other things, she signed legislation banning smoking in restaurants and bars. Minner retired in 2009.
In other top news, school districts around the state are bracing for a possible school bus driver strike. 3 districts that contract with the bus company named First Student are waiting for drivers to vote. That could come as early as tomorrow. The Appoquinimink School District sent a letter to parents warning of a possible strike. Districts around the country are already facing driver shortages. Some Delaware districts changed start times for school this year and are even doing triple runs in order to get all children to school on time. The strike would impact more than 1,200 students in Appoquinimink. Other districts that use First Student include Christina and Newcastle County Votech.
In more school news, Governor John Carney extended the state's mask mandate yesterday. It means students, teachers, and staff in public and private schools will be required to wear masks until February 8th. The current mandate was to expire in December. Carney made the extension to give children ages 5 through 11 more time to take advantage of the vaccines now available to them. The chief executive says he's focused on increasing vaccination rates in the state so Delaware can move past the pandemic.
The Department of Health and Social Services is temporarily expanding hours to accommodate working families who want to get their children vaccinated against COVID-19. From now through November 19th, DPH is expanding hours Monday to Friday at the locations seen here on your screen from 8:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. They will be closed for lunch from 11:30 to 1:15. For more information on vaccinating your 5 to 11-year-old children, head to coronavirus.delaware.gov.
And 1 week after the Pfizer vaccine was approved for children ages 5 to 11, Nemours Children's Health held its first clinic for youngsters. Lines on Saturday morning wrapped around the hospital.
So we opened our online scheduling tool a couple of days ago, and we filled nearly 300 spots in close to an hour and a half.
Nemours recommends all eligible patients to get the COVID-19 vaccine as soon as they can to protect children from serious illness. One mom said she didn't need the nudge.
We've been waiting for this day for a long time, so we're here to get it done, right?
The University of Delaware has taken a tough new stance on COVID vaccines. All employees must be fully immunized by January 4th or face termination. Previously, UD's deadline was December 8th, but there were no consequences tied to noncompliance. The new deadline was extended after President Joe Biden issued a new federal mandate ordering companies with more than 100 employees to require vaccines. UD employs about 4,500 people and is the only college in the state to announce it will fire staff who do not comply. Other colleges and universities have policies that require regular testing for unimmunized employees. UD president is on the record saying he does not want to risk losing funding if the federal mandate is not followed. That's being challenged in court.
We're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. Your local weather forecast is coming up after the break. You're watching DETV News.
Let DART do the driving. DART First State provides transportation that is clean, safe, reliable, and affordable. Plan your trip and get real-time bus information with the free DART Transit app. Scan your phone to pay your fare with the free DART Pass app. So what are you waiting for? Try transit today. Visit dartfirststate.com or call 1-800-652-DART.
Welcome back. DuPont's spinoff Chemours Chemical Company launched Chemfest on Monday. The program will support STEM education in area schools, particularly in less advantaged areas. To start, Chemours gave $4 million to the Eastside Charter School for a new facility featuring STEM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. The Servium Girls Academy also received a check for $250,000. Take a look.
Chemfest is an investment in middle school education to bring chemistry and STEM awareness and opportunities to these young people.
The entire Chemours family is excited about today. We are driving STEM education around the world and especially in underprivileged communities to give greater access and to make a difference.
This kind of partnership that shows the young people in our state the future, and the future is STEM. We know that. And we know that we need to make it possible for every child in our state to access that future. And that's what this program does.
We want to be able to see with this STEM hub that we're building at Eastside Charter, that young people from Eastside and from the surrounding communities get a chance to be the employees at Chemours. And so we'd love to see the CEO, the CFO, and your scientists and technicians be coming out of this partnership because of the investment that Chemours made today.
The fact that they chose Servium and Eastside means that they're investing in the community where maybe the students don't have as much access.
When the community can see that Riverside has all of the resources to be successful, then I think that'll make a huge impact.
Not just to create stockholder value, not just to create products for the world, but to create opportunity right here in Wilmington and Newcastle County.
This is about creating a pipeline. This is about making a difference in society. And this is also about being responsible and supportive to the communities in which we operate.
I can't even contain myself.
Kids will do what is celebrated. And if we can get STEM education to be celebrated in our communities, our kids are going to go in that direction.
There's a monster change ahead for the Dover International Speedway. The Charlotte-based Speedway Motorsports announced its plans to acquire Dover International Speedway. It's a deal worth an estimated $131.5 million. The agreement to acquire Dover Motorsports ends Delaware's run as being home of one of the last independent operators of the sport. Dover Speedway opened in 1969 and is scheduled to host its NASCAR triple header from April 29th to May 1st.
In other news, police in Dover are searching for a man accused of trying to rape a woman near the city's library. According to authorities, early Monday morning on Lockerman Plaza, the assailant hit the victim multiple times and threw her to the ground and began to undress her. Two Good Samaritans heard the victim screaming for help and came to her aid. The suspect then ran off. The images are here on your screen, and if you have any idea of who this person is, call police.
A 16-year-old student at John Dickinson High School was arrested and charged with bringing a loaded, stolen handgun to school on Monday. According to Delaware State Police, a school resource officer was tipped off about the teen possibly having the weapon. The officer brought the student to a vacant classroom and located the stolen loaded handgun in the student's waistband. The teen was charged with multiple felonies and was committed to the Newcastle County Detention Center. Two 15-year-old boys were arrested for robbery on Monday afternoon at the Claymont Elementary School. State police say a 24-year-old victim was walking on a path close to the school when a group of teens started following him. 3 boys emerged from the group, one displaying a gun and demanding cash. The victim was assaulted and his shoulder bag was stolen. The boys ran from the scene but were found by area troopers who responded to the call. Both of the young suspects were charged with several felony counts of robbery and conspiracy. They were taken to the Newcastle County Detention Center.
And switching gears, November is National Diabetes Awareness Month. Here with some sobering statistics and an encouraging update with DETV founder Ivan Thomas is health reporter Donnie Bougeli-Smith.
Hi everyone. As you've heard, November is National Diabetes Awareness Month. What many don't realize is that 34 million Americans are living with type 2 diabetes or type 1 diabetes today. Adding to that total, the 84 million adults are pre-diabetic, which means they are in that high-risk category of developing type 2 diabetes. What that also means is that by 2050, 1 in 3 adults could be diabetic. Let's put Delaware in perspective. Today, close to 24% of adult Delawareans are either diabetic or pre-diabetic, which translates into $1.1 billion in medical costs per year. The numbers are astounding for a state of our size. Now, some of you may recall that earlier this summer, our very own Ivan Thomas was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and I had the opportunity to take a walk and hear more about his diagnosis and his experience. What I'm really excited is that months later, I'm joined by Ivan today to hear more about how he's living with type 2 diabetes, what his current numbers are, and what changes he's made to reduce this disease. Ivan, thank you for joining me.
Hey, glad to be here.
So Ivan, it was a really big moment. I really want to thank you for being so transparent and sharing with so many of our viewers about your diagnosis. Tell me about what happened in terms of your numbers and where you are today.
So over the summer, I was riding the car, got a call from my doctor, said get to the ER. Got to the ER and found out my numbers was 532. My blood sugar level was 532. It kind of scared me like a lot, right? And I realized at that point I had to make a turn. And the turn that I made with something where some people call cold turkey, that's exactly what I did. I wrote a letter to my team, emailed to my team and said, I'll be back in a little bit. I'm not going to be hands-on, but I have to focus on getting me back together. So what I did after that was I got a trainer, Scott from Balance Fitness, awesome guy, knows a lot about the body, right? But also the mind, and got a trainer and also changed the way that I was eating, right? And that was a huge part. When I talked to the Dr. Judy over at St. Francis Hospital, she said, change your meals, change the food that you eat, and walk and exercise, and that's what I did. And now from my A1C, that was a high at 11.7, is now 8.3. And that's good for 3 months for me, you know what I mean? So again, eating more vegetables, getting away from the fried foods, definitely no carbs. It helped out a lot. So I'm here and I'm living, I'm happy, and I'm reversing this whole thing. And people at home, I believe people at home could do the same.
Well, congratulations. It's a big deal to go, to have that dramatic of a dip in your A1C in 3 months is really tremendous. And what a lot of people don't realize is that, 85% of the solution is your diet, and the other 15% is exercise. But you mentioned the mind, and I'd love for you to just share a little bit more about what that means in terms of changing your mind and being more mindful. about this situation.
So there's a saying, as a man thinketh, so he is. And you have to, everything begins in your mind, right? Your thought becomes action, your action becomes a habit becomes your lifestyle, right? So in that, I had to retrain of what I knew about food and what I knew about exercise and what I know about people. So it wasn't just a dietary thing, but more of a humanity thing on the way, in which way I wanted to go. And just having that mindset, having my mind set to what I want to do and where I wanted to be, and having awesome people around me, that played a huge part. I made my mind up that I wanted to live, that I want to live. I made my mind up that I can't drive a Porsche with 2 toes. You know what I mean? Like so how do I fix that? What do I do to become the person that I want to be? And I had to set my mind to that place. And now it's stuck there.
That's awesome advice. Ivan, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
More news with Matt and Lauren after this break.
This message is brought to you by Newcastle County Government.
Many wonder, what is a variant? A variant is a mutation or a change in the genetic sequence of the virus. Some of our methods of treating COVID-19 become ineffective. If we were to simply get vaccinated, we could decrease the spread and the likelihood that a mutation would form in the first place. Let's get vaccinated.
Thanks, Donnie. In other news, Delaware is already seeing the effects of climate change, something the governor wants to tackle. Last week, he released an action plan that seeks to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 26 to 28% by the year 2025. The plan supports state agencies that research and monitor the climate and its effects. State officials say our area is already seeing the sea level rise, warmer temperatures, and more intense and frequent storms.
Every little bit helps. Everybody has to be all in on the effort.
In more environmental news, Delaware has begun a tree planting program designed to help clean the air. Governor Carney, who was joined by other state leaders to plant a tree Tuesday in Lieutenant Zerba Memorial Park at Penn Acres, he announced plans to plant 1 million saplings, 1 for each resident in the state. In addition to absorbing carbon, trees provide shade, which helps to lower energy costs. So far, more than 20,000 trees have been planted. And the John G. Leech School for Children with Severe Disabilities and Medical Conditions is getting a new home. The school serves severely disabled students from all over the county. The Department of Education not only approved the request for a new school, DOE will also foot the $40 million tab. That means residents in the Colonial School District won't be asked to raise their taxes through a referendum.
This building was originally established and built for students predominantly that were suffering from polio, and we are leaps and bounds from that time. Our students come with a variety of needs, and our staff and our families and our partnerships across the state have met the challenge time and time again with access and innovation to provide really well thought out instructional opportunities and programming that's individualized for all of our students.
Leech, a 60-year-old school, is located in Newcastle. The new larger school will be built along routes 1 and 7 in Bear to better accommodate the needs of students with all their specialized equipment. Preschoolers at the Colonial Early Education Program are getting a brand new playground thanks to Discover and a team of volunteers. Colonial Superintendent Jeff Menzer and his leadership team jumped in to help with constructing the playground equipment. Volunteer workers from Discover were also on hand to help with everything, right down to painting signage. Discover donated $125,000 to make the playground a reality.
So this year we committed to $155,000. Colonial also had a significant stake in here. Discover provided the majority of the volunteers for today's build in our partnership with Kaboom to make this happen. We're very excited. It's been a long time coming. SEEP, our partner here, has been working to get a playground for more than 5 years, so we're very fortunate to be a part of this project. Two of our core values at Discover are doing the right thing and volunteerism. It really guides our company's actions and helps shape our culture at Discover. So we were so excited to be a part of it. This is our first build in Delaware, but our 36th enterprise-wide. We've had a long-time partnership with Colonial and a long-time partnership with Kaboom, so it was just a natural fit for us to be here today.
And a familiar face here, DETV's own Lauren Wilson, who is Colonial's public information officer, also grabbed a paintbrush needed to make a colorful sandbox. How'd it turn out?
Really well. It's a lot of fun, and the kids are going to love it.
Oh, awesome.
It's an awesome
That's
thing.
fantastic. Details of the annual countywide food drive and holiday carol on the Circle were announced recently. This year's caroling on the Circle returns after being muted last year by the pandemic. The outdoor event, weather permitting, will be held on Monday, December 6th at 6:30 p.m. Caroling serves as the centerpiece event for the month-long food drive. Later this month, county officials will set up a portable storage unit on the Circle to begin collecting non-perishable food items. Before the pandemic, the food drive collected nearly 30,000 items that fed Sussex County residents through food pantries and churches. We're going to take a quick break. Nick will be here with us when we return with your local sports report. Stay with us. You're watching DETV News.
As soon as I got here, I just felt the warm embrace of the community, man. Like what y'all got going on is wonderful. And no wonder y'all called the work group, because y'all putting that work in. For real, seriously, y'all getting the work done.
We are committed to creating the best Riverside we can with the community, for the community.
Welcome back to DETV News. I'm Nick Alessandrini. It is officially playoff time in most of our fall sports. Football postseason just around the corner. We'll take a look at upcoming Week 10 and look ahead. Also, college basketball underway last night. Both Delaware men's and women's in action, and both picked as preseason number ones in the CAA. I'll tell you how they did in their 2021 season debut. Week 9 had some lopsided games, but playoffs again are just a little over a week away, and some seeds could shift in these last few weeks. We're going to start with Woodbridge and Red Lion in a battle downstate. The Blue Raiders looking to remain unbeaten against a tough Red Lion team. Early in this one, Ben Carter going to hop on the football after the Red Lion fumble in the end zone. The Blue Raiders take an early lead. Then a little bit later on, Red Lion quarterback Matt Krause, he finds Seth McGrarty for a 24-yard score through the air, 8-6. But as always, it was all Blue Raiders in the second half. Jordan Evans going to light the fire here with a 90-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. The Blue Raiders remain unbeaten with a 35-6 win, and they're looking for that number 1 seed in Class 2. Kenny Newton had 17 carries for 117 yards to lead Woodbridge. Another team battling for seeding in Class 2, that would be the Caravel Bucks, and they took care of business last week as well. A big night on the ground for Keyshawn Drumgo and Caravel. They take down Milford 44-0. Caravel picked up 2 defensive scores, 2 pick sixes from the sophomores Jordan Miller and Vandrick Hamlin III. Drumgo, he finishes the night with 122 yards and 2 touchdowns on 18 carries. And Caravel is back in action with a big one tonight with undefeated St. Elizabeth. You can catch that one on Delaware Live Sports with Glenn Frazier. And since the loss to Middletown, the Smyrna Eagles have been rolling, and nothing changed for them in Week 9. However, even they were playing host to another hot team in the Appo Jaguars. Appo had won 4 in a row coming into Smyrna, but it was all Eagles last Friday night. Cameron Edge, he threw for over 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. And Wayne Knight, of course, added a few scores himself, a 1-yard touchdown run and a 37-yard catch from Edge. And the Eagles, they get the win 48-7, and they continue to roll. But playoffs underway. Our DIAA volleyball semifinals are set. Tuesday, we concluded our quarterfinals. It was sweeps across the board. Top seeded St. Mark's earned a sweep over Tower Hill. Will now play number 5 Newark Charter, who earned themselves a sweep over DMA. On Saturday, that game is scheduled for 6 p.m. at St. Mark's High School. In our other semifinal matchup, number 2 seeded the Padua Pandas. They got a 3-0 sweep over Dover, and they're going to take the Quakers from Wilmington Friends. Again, Friends, they're having a great season. One of 2 teams to take a set from St. Mark's this year, and they picked up a win 3-0 over Ursuline. So it's number 2 Padua, number 6 Wilmington Friends. That game on Saturday at 7:30, also at St. Mark's High School. D2 soccer playoffs underway as well. Quarterfinals are set for Saturday, and the Spartans and St. Mark's, they got the top seed here as well, and they will get the Patriots of Newark Charter in round 2 after their win over Brandywine 1-0 in their opening round. Number 4, Friends will now see St. Andrews, the 12th seed on Saturday, after St. Andrews upsets DMA in PKs. And number 2 seeded Caravel, they get Archmere on Saturday, who advanced with a 1-0 victory in double overtime over Sussex Academy. The defending state champions, Indian River, they got the 3rd seed in the tournament, and they will welcome Delmar. The 12-seeded Wildcats upset number 6 McCain in PKs 9-7, and quarterfinals again are scheduled for Division II on Saturday. Now over to field hockey. The D2 field hockey playoffs are underway as well. D1 is going to get started today, but in D2, no shocker here, Delmar, they earn your top seed, 15-0 on the season, and they'll host the number 9 Caravel Bucks, who got the upset win over number 8 Concord in the first round, 3-1. Number 4 Sussex Academy, they earned that first round bye, will now turn their attention to number 5 Tatnall, who took care of business 7-0 over DMA in their opening round. We look to the other side of the bracket here, the second-ranked Archmere Auks. They'll get their first taste of tournament action against number 7 Lake Forest, who advanced with a 3-0 win over St. Mark's. Rounding it out is number 3 Newark Charter, as they will host number 6 Wilmington Friends, who took down Brandywine 7-0. Quarterfinals are set for D2 field hockey on Saturday. D1 field hockey, their first round is getting started today. You can see the bracket on your screen for upcoming matchups there. College basketball opening night last night, both the men's and women's Delaware teams in action, and again, both picked as preseason number 1s in the CAA. So expectations are high this season for Delaware. The women tipped off first and picked up right where they left off last season when they won the CAA regular season title. Jasmine Dickey, she led the way, 25 points, 10 rebounds, as the Lady Hens extend their home winning streak to 14 games and an 87-48 win over Chestnut Hill College. The women, they're back in action on Friday against Princeton. Tip-off at 7 p.m. The men's team had a little bit of a tougher go at it last night. They traveled to North Carolina to take on the Davidson Wildcats out of the A-10. The Wildcats, they shot over 58% in both halves of basketball and hit 14 of 23 from deep to beat the Hens 93-71. Dylan Painter, he finished with 17 points and 6 rebounds. And the new Hen, Jameer Nelson Jr., added 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists in the loss. The Hens, they're back at it on Saturday at Siena. Tip-off scheduled at 7 p.m. That'll do it for sports this week. We're going to take a short break, and we come back. More DETV news right after the break.
Auto accident, medical negligence, work injury. Contact Team Tice, your Delaware personal injury lawyers. Leroy Tice in Wilmington, Delaware, serving and supporting the people of Delaware. Call 302-489-2400. That's 302-489-2400. Online at teamtice.com.
Welcome back. Sunday breakfast mission residents and area homeless folks were treated to foot care and new shoes last week at the annual Hearts of Souls event. 3 doctors from Delaware orthopedic specialists were on hand to examine and treat about 75 men and women.
One of the top 3 medical issues that folks who are homeless have are foot care is one of the top ones, and so they're on their feet all the time, and so a lot of them also have diabetes and other issues that make foot care even more important. So taking a look at their feet, seeing if there's anything we can do here acutely, just even kind of giving them some guidance on what we can do is huge.
Red Wing shoes were donated through the Hearts to Souls organization, and the mission collected money, shoes, warm socks, gloves, and other winter items for several months before the event. Staff shopped at Walmart for the items and got coloring books and candy canes for children. The event was canceled last year due to COVID, so the staff was very excited to plan this year's giveaway.
Hundreds came out to Harriet Tubman Riverfront Park last weekend to walk for a cure for heart disease. Heart disease is the #1 killer in America, claiming more than 1 million lives each year, more than all cancers combined.
We're walking for advancements, for research, for treatment, and for a cure.
This year, due to COVID restrictions, start times were staggered. The walk was sponsored by the American Heart Association.
Those of you planning to travel for the Thanksgiving holiday are very, very far from being alone. AAA is predicting 53.4 million people will hit the roads and airports later this month. That's the highest single-year increase since 2005. This brings travel volumes up from the dramatic falls during the pandemic, with air travel up 80% from last year. As COVID restrictions continue to lift and consumer confidence continues to build, AAA urges everyone to be prepared for more travelers when making plans this holiday season.
Speaking of the holidays, more than 250 bikers from the Newcastle County Abate chapter rode onto the grounds of the Exceptional Care for Children facility last weekend, bringing toys and Santa Claus. It was the 45th annual Bobby Hall Larry Fisher Memorial Toy Run. The skilled nursing facility has received more than $10,000 in donations from Abate since 2015.
We help raise money to give these kids a better life and a better Christmas.
But before we all begin the holiday season, it's time to stop and thank a veteran. Today is, of course, Veterans Day, when Americans pause to thank those men and women who have served our country. In Dover, the Air Mobility Command Museum near Dover Air Force Base opened a POW MIA exhibit today called the Chair of Honor. It features an unoccupied pilot seat waiting for still missing veterans to return. The museum marked the opening with a ceremony. The museum is open to the public from Wednesday to Sunday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
The Wilmington Art Loop returns next month after 20 months of being shuttered due to the COVID virus. The free popular art exhibition, now in its 33rd year, returns Friday, December 3rd. The Wilmington Art Loop is a self-guided exhibition of visual art displayed at studios, museums, and alternative spaces in and around the city. It's held on the first Friday of the month from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Details about specific exhibits and venues will be released shortly and will be listed in Out and About magazine.
A frightening day for one Sussex County woman ended up proving there are indeed good people in this world. Last month, a 66-year-old Laurel woman's car was stolen while she was shopping. Luckily, police found the stolen car later that day, but that's just where the story begins. In the car, the woman kept her late husband's Vietnam veteran hat in his memory. Unfortunately, when the car was found, that hat was gone. Knowing how much the hat meant to her, Laurel police, along with Delaware State and Salisbury police, searched far and wide for the missing hat. Sadly, it still was not found. Since the hat held such memories for her, patrol officers came together and purchased a duplicate Vietnam War Air Force veteran hat to replace the original. One Laurel police officer who served as a U.S. Marine also donated a retired American flag that had once been flown in Afghanistan by American troops. This week, officers went to the woman's home to present her with the replacement hat and American flag in memory of her husband.
And finally, the giant spruce that lights up New York's Rockefeller Center is coming from our area this holiday season. An Elkton, Maryland family donated a Norway spruce that will serve as the 2021 Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. The 79-foot tree has been cut and will head to New York City on Saturday. This marks the first time a tree from Maryland has been selected to be lit at 30 Rockefeller Plaza. The tree will spend a week being decorated before being officially lit during a ceremony on December 1st.
That's so neat.
It is, and it puts us all in the Christmas spirit.
Absolutely. We'll have to go up and check it out.
We certainly will. Well, that's our weekend review. Thanks for watching DETV News. I'm Lauren Wilson.
And I'm Matt Ford. Be sure to check out DETV across social media. Stay well, and we'll see you next time.
DETV News is sponsored by Newcastle County Government.